It's still two for the whole world. 10 toes down, chose my own words wisely. I poet like a bar. Send you spit like your cars.
You're two. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Two for the World Show. The platform where we create us is Actual Factuals. I'm your host, William Zillions. Thanks for tuning in. This is episode 17. Last episode, I talked briefly about qualified immunity and how qualified immunity is just a defense, a legal defense that is used and enforced by the Supreme Court. However, that it does not exist without police misconduct. And, so the fact that the law of the land is protecting the police who do bad stuff is disgusting. And I think if you haven't looked up or have ever heard of qualified immunity, check it out, man. There's tons of information out here. I've been learning a bit more about it myself recently. I also discussed in the last episode how I sort of felt like there was so little response from our leadership. You know what I mean? Like, it's been like daily protests for like a month at this point. And even still, at this point right now, all we have is bills on the table. You know, like offers from both sides on how they think that we can intelligently respond to police brutality through our laws. Cool beans, right? But what I want to talk about is this Justice Act from the Republicans. I want to talk about something that nobody is talking about. And I think it's high-key, all the way disrespectful, some of the language that's in this document. The people who formulated this, I want to know if they were really serious about this, because the levels of disrespect seem so high that I would hope that it was on accident. You know what I'm saying? Every main talking point in a bill is called a title. And then titles are broken down into sections. Cool. All right, so one of the first sections of the Law Enforcement Reform title is called the George Floyd and Walter Scott Notification Act. The intention of this is to make sure that all police misconduct from any law enforcement agency gets reported on an annual basis to this database that's supposed to be like watched over by the FBI. I think it's good, you know what I'm saying? Because there's accountability there. I think there's a lot of holes in that, though, because if you're going to wait for a year of misconduct to go by, like unchecked, unseen, when this is what we're directly supposed to be responding to right now. I think that's a little weird, a little strange. But let's move on because and keep that scale in your head. They want to report police misconduct for however many times it occurs throughout the year and report it one time to the FBI. Remember these points, okay? Because the title that bothers me the most in this is title number 5. And title number 5 of the Justice Act is entitled, let me check this. It's entitled the Commission of the Social Status of Black Men and Boys Act. Now, when I read this, the first thing that goes off in my head is, what are they talking about black men and boys for as inside of a bill that's supposed to actually let's talk about it first. Let's get into it, because I don't want to express my frustration or my feelings of disrespect without presenting why I feel that way. So let's do that. Booyah. Thank you. This is exactly it. So they want to put together a pantheon, a Justice League of like black people knowledge, specifically black men and boys. And they want to do this by putting together a commission whose purpose is to study trends of black men and boys over the years on topics like homicide, mental health, like violence, drug use, like all of these points of information that, to me, when I read them, I'm like, well, that seems like it's information that's readily available right now. Like, we already, do we need to wait for more damage to be done in order because the way that they're pitching it, this Commission of Social Status of Black Men and Boys Act, is that they want to be able to prove numbers and show and collect data on what social programs are working to benefit black men and boys and stuff. But ultimately what it is it's a perverse, on paper, legalized, if passed, legalized method of hyper policing black men and boys and following them and stalking them to learn the trends of their everyday life. How is this the solution to police misconduct? Do you feel what I'm saying? And I feel like for them to put that as their Title 5 out of 10, there's 10 titles. The Commission of the Social Status of Black Men and Boys came before so many other things. Why is this even included in a bill that's about improving the policing methods of our country? I think it's highly disrespectful, and I really am interested in how we go about checking our state representation on language like this and how it's just hidden there. Who is talking about this right now? If this joint just passes on accident and everybody I know has to start being like hyper policed and stuff like that so they can just like, it's very weird. It's very weird language. I would suggest that you check out the actual language. Read it for yourself. Read the Justice Act. It is the bill that is supposed to be responding to police misconduct that was penned by the Republicans, but they really just want to stalk black people and find out what makes them tick. It's disgusting, son. It's disgusting. I think one of the more interesting things about this bill is how often this information has to be reported on. So as I stated in Title I, the George Floyd and Walter Scott Notification Act, police misconduct from law enforcement agencies only has to be reported annually to the FBI in this database. It's just a database. The information that's collected from the Commission of the Social Status of Black Men and Boys reports directly to the president, bro. Directly to the president, bro. That shit is crazy. You're going to tell me that you want to give information on black men and boys directly to the president, but you won't give the president directly the police misconduct records of the people who are utilizing power to abuse American human rights? You really telling me that's the priority right now? This is how we're going to fix this issue? I would suggest, if you know anything about the conversation of amending bills, I would love to talk to you, because the language is so disrespectful. If what the goal if what the goal, mission, and intention, if that's really to improve and reform policing practices, accountability, and transparency, policing young black men and boys, or policing black men and boys, is not the answer. It is not the solution. I don't know who thought of this, but I'm very interested in that person's well-being, and like it's like that's a little of a reach, you know what I'm saying? You're a little cuckoo, and if all of y'all agreed on this, then y'all are all disgusting, man. There's other stuff I want to talk about soon. I'm gonna keep reading through this. If I find more stuff, I'll definitely share it with you. This has been another episode of the Two for the World Show. The platform where we create us is Actual Factuals. I'm your host, William Zillions, and stay true. Still two for 'em. These cops need a leash on their power. Yeah. A Supreme Court ain't protecting rights. Wow, I thought we was human like right now. Qualified immunities against the people. Supreme Court shit and that shit right now. We here now, ain't no going backwards. Get it all out on the table. Bet we come up with answers.